What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. It is episode 909 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, crisis actors. It's Mary. I must preface this episode and admit that both myself and Brett are engaging in a common fashion faux pas at the moment. It's the day after Labor Day, and we're both wearing white. I'm still not sure why that's considered bad etiquette. I looked it up, and it's something about, like, the smog in the air when Labor Day was originated.
Wait, so is this why Obama got in trouble for the tan suit? Does that have something to do with this?
I actually don't know about the tan suit controversy.
That's one of my favorite
like,
bits
doing
of
multiplication
gaslighting.
tables.
Yeah.
So
that's one of my favorite bits of gaslighting when they're like, and his only scandal was that he wore a tan suit before Labor Day. Like that's some of the earliest.
So
bits
you're
of
not supposed to wear tan before Labor Day? I don't know
I'm
about
asking
that
you.
one.
I don't know.
I looked it up. It said there's a sign of aristocratic high society that you're only supposed to wear darker colors after Labor Day because of the changing of the seasons, and wearing white, it's a summer color.
Okay.
I don't know, but I wore white today just to defy that rule, and Brett wore white because he just wore white.
I've been wearing white.
He didn't premeditate this.
I've been wearing white a lot lately, so.
We
I'm
are putting up a poll.
I put up a poll just now. I said, is Trump dying? Yay or nay?
That's what everyone was talking about over the weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was something that was going on the whole time when I was busy on Friday night. It was like I was like on X a bunch, and it was just all people like talking about whether Trump is dying or not, which is depressing.
But I just thought nothing ever happens. He's probably fine or just having some kind of medical issue. Either way, nothing ever happens, and nothing did happen. He just did a press briefing like literally an hour ago.
Yep, that's what I was
We
saying.
have a couple of $20 super chats. Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Taco Tuesday, Brett and Mary. The new laptop took all weekend, but it's officially set up and ready for meme business. Since Tim is back, Brett can finally get those cards to him before leaving for the wedding. LOL."
I mean, so there's a whole hullabaloo going on right now, and it's a problem of my own making that's coming up because I had the dates wrong when I asked for help from Tate, and we're hoping to get Thursday filled in here for somebody to cover me. Don't know about tomorrow, but Thursday we're hoping that somebody can cover. And so I see somebody in the chat saying audio out of sync. If it is, I would hit refresh on your stream. But so we're working to make sure that Thursday gets covered. But yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to catch Tim before I leave, because after today's show, I'm going to edit. I may have to sit in with Alex to see if she can make it here to try and get something done to get her like familiar with this system. Otherwise, yeah, I won't be seeing you guys for another week and a half. I'll be gone for a while.
And we've got another 20 from Badump Bash. Going on a trip tomorrow, won't be back till Sunday, going via aeroplane to St. Louis. If I don't make it back, please feed my cat. You're on your own, buddy. We're not responsible for your cat. But yeah, Brett's about to be off preparing for his wedding, which is a big moment.
Feel free to send your congratulations.
Yeah.
Chat. So we're leaving
if you
Wednesday.
really care and you're really supportive of the wedding, then you would super chat.
So we're leaving tomorrow, and then we're going to be we're going out of town, and then we're going into Canada for the honeymoon, which I'm very it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. And I don't really take a whole ton of time off, so it should be interesting to see what I'm doing with that many days off in a row.
Are you going to lose your mind?
I'm probably going to. You know what? No. Newly married, you're young. Well, I'm not young, but I'm young and in love.
You're young.
Young enough.
You're young to some people in society.
Yeah, there you go. So, yes, I think I'll be good. I've got plenty going on. I won't be preoccupied. I'm also not going to obsessively check the stream to make sure everything's working while I'm gone. I still have it in my head canon that there's something that every time I check the YouTube studio, that's what logs us out on here and causes problems in the stream somehow.
I'm pretty low stress. I'm a pretty laid back person for the most part. And the way I see it is like, if you check the stream and something's going wrong, you checking makes no difference.
No,
there's just going to be something going wrong either way. So you might as well not stress yourself out on the other is in another country.
Can't worry
when
about
you're
it.
trying to enjoy yourself.
Can't worry about it. So guys, what you should do now though is hit the like button on this video. Excuse me, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Remember to share this episode out with everybody in your life that you know. The more people that you share it with, the faster this channel can grow. Is there something funny?
Mary needs to throw Brett's bachelor party. I don't think that's really my role.
No,
I would be intruding on that. Are you having a bachelor party? We have another 20 from, sorry, let me see. Kyle Dixon took the baby to the local brewery on Friday on PCC's advice. Walked in, dog sitting on a bar stool. Hour later, girl came in complaining of a breakup. She seemed to like the baby and dog presence. 10 out of 10 would recommend. So you're just disproving everyone.
Yeah.
These TikTokers are saying don't bring dogs to the brewery, don't bring kids to the brewery, but I guess it's more like a therapy tool.
Yeah. Yeah.
For someone day drinking.
I was that video did okay, but it didn't do the numbers that I thought it was going to, given the dog. Not that one, the dog discussion.
The dog one, yeah.
I thought that one was gonna blow up because it was. See, you can never predict anything.
There was some really heated argument going on my Instagram though about that video,
but not on the YouTube video.
Yeah.
Like every once in a while, like I've given up on predicting what videos are gonna be like hit big or like are gonna like really be controversial. I thought if anything, like a thumbnail that said dogs have encroached too far in society was going to set people off, but it didn't.
No, and there were a lot of people who agreed with the principle of the thing.
There you go.
Once they got past thinking that I hate dogs.
You're too rational for them.
Yeah. I'm just a voice of reason.
So what do we got to talk about today? We got a bunch of stuff to get into. One of the original directors from the first Harry Potter movies, director not Christopher Columbus, it's just Chris Columbus.
It is Christopher. His name is Christopher. He just goes by Chris.
Yeah. I'm just going to call him Chris Columbus. So it's not that guy, not colonial Chris Columbus.
Not sailed the ocean blue.
Not colonial Chris Columbus, but Harry Potter Chris Columbus from 2001,
yes,
who did The Philosopher's Stone. That Chris Columbus says there's no chance of him coming back to direct another Harry Potter movie, to which people asked, we weren't asking.
He's like,
you.
I don't even want to.
He's like, I don't even want to. So he's calling out J.K. Rowling for her transphobia. So we'll get into it because it's literally like nobody was asking him, but he decided to butt in and tell you his opinion anyway. So we're going to talk about that. We are also going to talk about actress Chloe Grace Moretz, who got married over the weekend to her girlfriend of how long?
8 years.
Okay, talk about forever boyfriends. How about forever girlfriends? Well,
is that a thing that happens with lesbians?
I don't know.
Who proposes? It's all so confusing, right?
But we're going to talk about it because apparently she's getting some backlash for this. So
right,
we're
for being gay married.
Well, we're gonna talk about it. And also, Taylor Swift stans have attacked, they have a new op, and she is Maddie Healy's new fiance.
New fiance post Taylor Swift fling in 2023. This chick is, now feeling the full ire of the Swiftie army, and no one wants that.
Nobody wants that. That's the word. Like, what's the memes always like? If you get kidnapped and you still have your phone, just say something mean about Taylor Swift or like one of the K-pop groups, and they'll find you.
Yeah. Was it 2023 that Taylor Swift started dating Travis Kelce?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm getting my timeline correct. It's all very convoluted, but yeah.
So we're going to talk about that. We got a bunch of other stuff. You ready to go?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go for it.
Rumor has it Sydney Sweeney is now dating Scooter Braun. And this is per a report from Star Magazine. They were spotted together in Italy, which actually happened a while ago when they were following Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's wedding celebrations. She was seen in a TikTok walking alongside Scooter Braun and Vittoria Coretti, who is actually Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriend. 27, by the way. I'll mention.
Well, he's aged up.
Yeah.
He's aged up.
There's nothing going on. There's no PDA in this video. There's absolutely no proof of a romantic connection between the two of them, so I'm not sure whether to trust this rumor. But they were hanging out casually together in Italy. And here were some of the first reactions to this news. One on TikTok said, I will actively avoid everything she is ever in from now on. A self-proclaimed Swiftie hanging out with a criminal scum Scooter Braun. When people show you who they are,
believe them. Wait, so why is he a criminal?
I think they're basically
I love it when they just lie.
They're basically just accusing Scooter Braun of theft because he was responsible for the sale of Taylor Swift's discography, which she actually purchased back for herself this year. And
my tweet
he
was,
is her arch nemesis in the music industry.
My tweet was, he stole her master, so she stole his heart. That's,
right.
You know, that's a greeting card if ever there was one.
So I suppose Swifties have now positioned themselves against Sydney Sweeney for associating herself either friendly or romantically with Scooter Braun, because Scooter Braun is, in their mind, literally Hitler. He's literally Satan incarnate. But according to a source, Scooter Braun is telling those closest to him that he's dating Sweeney, but asking them to keep it hush-hush for now.
I mean, you'd think a guy as media savvy as him would know to just not mention anything if you wanted it kept to yourself.
The most reasonable response to this news has been, it should have been Glenn Powell.
Yes, that was Brett Cooper's take.
Most people are disappointed that Sydney Sweeney didn't end up dating Glenn Powell after breaking up with her own ex-fiancé, Jonathan Davino. But she's just going to date whoever advances her career, it looks like.
She's working her way up to Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
She's working her way up to Jeff Bezos.
Scooter Braun isn't a billionaire. No. But his net worth is reportedly $500 million. So
paltry.
Baby steps. And I assume that he could do something for her career, and it also helps him to date her.
He produces in Hollywood as well.
Yeah.
So he could absolutely do that for
her. One of the responses said, spiritually Israeli, which I believe is a pointed remark at Scooter Braun being Jewish, but we'll just let that slide. Another one said,
horseshoe theory really is a real thing.
Truly a masterclass in obliterating any goodwill people had toward her. As if being outed as a registered Republican wasn't bad enough.
Yeah, it's not like you can go farther down. Like, is there like some fan out there who's like, oh, I can't take it anymore. First, she's not dating Glenn Powell. Then she makes the soap. Now she's a Republican, but Scooter Braun was like a bridge too far.
And a eugenicist. You forgot that one, too. Another comment said, could she be any more problematic? Yuck! She should go back to dating Glenn Powell. Well, that never happened. She was never
dating Glenn Powell.
They never actually dated. I don't know who missed the memo on this, but she was just giving a little showman's performance with Glenn Powell when they were promoting Anyone But You.
Speaking of which...
Yeah.
That's relevant here.
We have to acknowledge that we got hoodwinked by Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson earlier this year because they were in the middle of promoting their movie Naked Gun 2, and we're telling everybody that they have found love and they're dating, and everyone thought this is so cute. They're like the wholesome grandpa and grandma of Hollywood who have found love late in life when they didn't think it was possible. Well, according to a source from TMZ, that was fake. It was all a show, Mance, from the start. Pamela Anderson and Liam Neeson's relationship was a PR stunt. Sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ the whole love fest was cooked up by their PR teams and Paramount. In fact, we're told Pamela and Liam Neeson didn't even see each other from the time cameras stopped rolling in June of 2024 until the press tour launched over a year later. A big slice of the stunt involved Pamela Anderson claiming she was baking muffins and sourdough bread for Liam, something he even played along with in interviews leading up to the premiere. It makes us assume that was also part of the strategy, pure role play, not reality. Pam and Liam never even had one-on-one dinners. Whenever they did, assistants were at the table, strictly business and zero romance.
Here's the thing. It's even more nefarious because they were rapping in the language of him having a wife that died.
Yeah.
And this is his first chance at like these people knew exactly how to get let's face it, the women folk. They knew exactly how to wrap the women up in this story about, he hasn't been with anyone since his wife died. It's so romantic. It's so wholesome. No.
And like Pamela Anderson, you could argue, is like hard done by in life.
Yeah. And here they are. They found each other now. And go figure. None of it was real.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know whether I believe the source that TMZ is quoting here. Maybe it's real. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's something in between. But
I mean, that's the best thing for them, right? It's like their idea is like, we don't know where the truth ends and the lie begins.
Right. There were even details about how they've blended their families and stuff. Like,
I would love to be the...
it's a lot of work.
So you've got like a PR team, right? And they're going through their back and forth about how they're going to sell this to people. And this is why I tell you Hollywood was better when there was cocaine in the boardrooms. This goes true for the PR people as well. So what I'm imagining is they're like, we could leak that they're dating. We don't have to say too much. We'll let the story kind of carry itself. And then they get the ideas get crazier and crazier until you get into bake-offs and blended families. And the cocaine is flowing, and the ideas are on the whiteboard up there.
Right.
And really, it's kind of nefarious because they're playing on on a bid for sympathy.
Right, especially with Liam Neeson's backstory, which is actually real. And I'm surprised that if this was coordinated, he would be willing to use his own personal tragedy as a selling point for a movie.
He was Ra's al Ghul, after all.
I don't know. Maybe he has that dog in him. But it did work. They made a lot of money on Naked Gun 2.
I mean, it's already out on streaming.
They said it grossed $89 million worldwide on a $42 million budget.
I mean, that's not a lot of money. They didn't make their money back on that. That's like
really?
No, because they split $89 million with the theaters, so
I
they
guess
made
that's
like
true.
they didn't make any money on this. I guess the idea is that it's going to make more money on pay VOD. But in general, is all of that really worth invoking your dead wife's name to sell it?
As for Sydney Sweeney, I'm becoming more and more convinced that she's a bit of a sociopath. Not because she's dating Scooter Braun, and I hate Scooter Braun. Like, I've been actually sort of a Scooter Braun defender as the months have gone on, because I just don't believe he is the super villain of the music industry that Justin Bieber's supporters will tell you he is, or Swifties will tell you he is. He's just a ruthless businessman, and things happen in the industry that screw some people over and benefit others. It's not that complicated. It's not a dramatic story that Taylor Swift wrote it into. It was a bit of a spin. But Sydney Sweeney is just going to date or pretend to date whoever it takes to get her in the headlines.
Well, and that's like, I imagine, again, I always go back to that thing where her parents said that she gave them like a 5-year plan when she was like 13. She's been this way since she was a kid. She was like, she probably has like a flow chart in the living room of potential dating. There's Venn diagrams posted on, it's literally the Charlie Day meme.
Yeah.
And she's debating who to date next. Is it this, or do I have rumors about dating Pedro Pascal leak? Which one is it?
She doesn't strike me as a romantic type. She's definitely a pragmatist when it comes to her dating life.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, people talk about how the appeal to her is that she appeals to men, and she's okay with men looking because there is a pragmatic reason to do that, because it's a void in the culture that hasn't been filled in a long time, because most of the sexualized nature of Hollywood now is the Sabrina Carpenter sexualization, which is very different.
Which is hostile to men. At the same time as wanting
as you
to
called
sleep
it,
with
horny
them.
misandry.
Yep, I'm gonna stick with that.
I think that's a good description. So she's filling a power vacuum that was left by Pamela Anderson 20 years ago. She's busy with Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
She's filling a power vacuum that was filled by Megan Fox.
Oh yeah, that's Megan Fox.
Even Megan Fox made Jennifer's Body, which is a little bit more intellectual in its approach to sexualization,
which is why it bombed.
Yeah. But the point is that Sydney Sweeney probably doesn't do anything without, like, you know what it is? The funnier version of this is that she asks ChatGPT who she should date.
I bet that she still has a 5, 10, 15-year plan that she's going by even now.
She's it's like there's like this joke in the show Eureka where Nathan Stark is talking to to the main character, and he talks about like, what do you want in the world? And Nathan says like, like control, power, blah blah blah. And he goes, you dream about world domination? He's like, not all the time. Like, I imagine if you asked Sydney Sweeney, she'd be like, yeah, she's like Nathan being asked by Carter if you dream about world domination. She's like, well, not all the time, but when I'm not working, I do.
Yeah, I mean, I think being rich and famous is fine, and I'm sure has its perks, but I don't know if it's worth completely fabricating every facet of your existence for media consumption.
Depends on what your goals are in life. If your goals are to obtain a crap ton of power and money, then she's on the right path.
So I don't think that's really the right goal.
Okay. All right, let's move on.
Last week, we discussed a comment that Snoop Dogg gave on a recent interview on the It's Giving podcast. It was the most random interview I've ever seen. This channel had like basically no subscribers. He was talking about taking his grandchildren to see this Pixar movie, Lightyear. And if you don't recall, Lightyear was a huge failure at the box office in 2022. A lot of people blamed that on the recycling of Toy Story IP, the confusing premise, but a lot of the backlash also had to do with a same-sex kiss between two female characters in the movie. And he was basically expressing that he didn't really want to explain sexuality to his grandchildren when he took them to this movie. He didn't really come for an intellectual discussion, and they ended up cutting that clip from the full episode.
Like, took it out of it entirely, yeah.
Hoping that no one would find it, but unfortunately it's caught the attention of some of the people employing Snoop Dogg over at The Voice, where he's a celebrity judge.
It's a big super chat there.
Let me find it. From Feisty Catholic, I think. Please pray for 12-year-old Sophia Forchus, critically injured in the Annunciation Church tragedy in Minneapolis. Her family asks us to storm heaven with prayers. There is novena on Hallow 18563, as well as a GoFundMe for her and the others.
If you have the link to the GoFundMe, if you want to post it in the chat right now, I will pin that to the top.
Thank you for
that.
Sending that.
Tonal issues.
Every damn time.
But post that in the chat, please.
Oh boy. So, the showrunners of The Voice, on which Snoop Dogg is a celebrity judge, held crisis PR meetings as a response to this clip of him talking about gay characters in Pixar movies. To just understand how much of an overreaction that is, let's just show the clip that everyone is getting so mad about, in case you didn't see it last week.
That's what you see. They putting it everywhere.
Yeah.
I took my grandson to see, what was the movie with Buzz Lightyear?
Toy Story?
Not that one, but
the new Buzz. The Lightyear. I think it's called Lightyear.
Yeah, with Kiki Palmer's in that movie. So we watching it, and she had a baby with a woman. Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie like, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman?
Snoop.
She a woman.
Do you believe his grandson calls him Papa
I really hope
Snoop?
they do call him Snoop.
I didn't come in for this shit. I just came to watch the goddamn movie. Hey, man, watch the movie. They just said she had a baby. They both women's. How did she have a baby? So it's like, it fucked me. I'm scared to go to the movies now. Like, y'all throwing me in the middle of shit that I don't have an answer for. It threw me for a loop. I'm like, what part of the movie was this? These are kids that we have to show that at this age, like,
that part.
they're going to ask questions.
Yeah.
I feel like his critique is less to do with the kids and more to the fact that he just doesn't have an answer for them. And it's like, it's not his job because he's not even their dad. Yeah. He's the granddad. It's not his job to sit them down and be like, well, when two women really love each other, they can go to the adoption agency or the IVF clinic. Or
there's nothing in that clip where he says, I find homosexuals reprehensible.
No,
Like there's nothing making a value judgment on gay relationships or gay adoption.
Like you could make the argument that the part at the end about like these are kids, and like you could make the like 10 years ago the argument would be like even the suggestion that it doesn't belong in there would be a problem, and 10 years ago the average neoliberal would agree with you.
NBC's furious with him over his quote-unquote homophobic comments.
And there was a fake apology.
Yeah, there was.
Which has been deleted literally everywhere.
An apology published via Deadline that was initially thought to be him. He said, "I was just caught off guard and had no answer for my grandsons. All my gay friends know what's up. They've been calling me with love. My bad for not knowing the answers for a 6-year-old. Teach me how to learn. I'm not perfect." So that's not really an apology, but it's also not real. And to make matters worse, the screenwriter of Lightyear spoke out in response to this controversy, defending her very purposeful inclusion of the same-sex kiss and why she thinks it's so important. We should show that picture of her. Just
yes.
The picture of this screenwriter tells you everything you need to know about those who are injecting politics and gender ideology into children's entertainment. The pink hair, the red glasses, you know, you can probably picture if you're listening rather than watching. Yes. But here was a statement that she issued on her Instagram in response to Snoop Dogg. "So I created the Lightyear Lesbians. In 2018, I was a writer at Pixar. Such a cool place. Grateful to work there. Learned a ton from kind and impressive creatives. As we wrote early versions of what became Lightyear, a key character needed a partner, and it was so natural to write she instead of he. As small as that detail is in the film, I knew the representational effect it could have. Small line, big deal. I was elated that they kept it. I'm proud of it. To infinity. Love is love. I was one of the few writers they had on it over the years, which is very common for screenwriting, of course. I had very little to do with the final script, but I was proud to see a happy queer couple, even for a few seconds, on screen. I know they got a lot of shit for this inclusion, but stuff like this matters because beautiful love like this exists. It's not fiction. What is fiction is Zurg and lightspeed space travel and murderous aliens and a talking robot cat." So she's talking about writing this all the way back in 2018, which is, of course, the reason why it didn't play so well 4 years later when the movie actually came out, and people were finally seeing the sea change on wokeness.
And let's be fair, like, they can bitch about this all they want, but the discussion about this was online. People didn't go see this movie because it made no sense, because it didn't have Tim Allen, because Buzz Lightyear looked like a dirty cop.
The animation style was totally different.
It didn't work, and it was nobody wanted a prequel based off not even on the character, based off the character of the character, which nobody had any interest in going to see. It's not like 2022 was a boon for movies in general. They were still going to be blaming COVID for everything around that time. The movie wasn't going to do well either way, and that discussion about representation, what that meant for the movie, was largely something that was had online. Like, they simultaneously tell you that you are both a vocal minority, but then also blame you when something doesn't work. You can't be a vocal minority. If the movie fails, then clearly it's a majority, not a minority. And I don't think it had anything to do with this. I think it had more to do with the fact that nobody wanted that movie to begin with.
Yeah, and I'm actually kind of taken aback at the response that Snoop Dogg has gotten, because I don't know.
Feels like
I just
a relic of 2022 to get that response. Yeah,
I figured that we were past those times.
Nope.
They're attempting to possibly take him off of The Voice for this.
I don't know if that's... I don't think that happens. I really don't. I think they wait this out. I think these controversies just come and go.
Waiting it out would look like just going ahead with the filming schedule and ignoring it, and not, having launching into crisis PR mode and then putting him on a hiatus by force.
Well, my favorite part is like,
that's a punishment.
The genius for this whole thing is like there's some genius PR rep whose job it is to be like, aw shucks, it's just Snoop being Snoop, and then that's the guy who makes the big bucks, who comes up with the brilliant idea of just waiting it out.
Yeah. It's wild that they had this fake apology though. Like, where did that even come from?
Well, the problem is then, you know, what's the term, like a lie makes it around the world twice before the truth has a chance to put its pants on. So a bunch of people have heard this fake apology, and there's all sorts of articles, I'm sure, or even videos about Snoop Dogg bending the knee, which didn't happen.
One of the responses says, normalize this. Strip homophobic celebrities of their opportunities. What did he even say that was homophobic? Honestly, if he said something homophobic, I would be elated.
Mary would love that.
But he didn't. He really didn't. This is like the mainstream liberal opinion of the past, 20 years.
See, that's what I'm saying, man. I'm watching Terminalist Dark Wolf, neoliberal pro-war television is back. Are you kidding me? Let's go! It's time to invade the Middle East again.
Vibe shift.
The vibe shift means we're going back to the Middle East, boys. We just left in 2021. We're on our way back.
Let's effing go.
Patriot Act. FISA warrants. Let's go.
We'll put a boot in your ass.
See, that's the real reason. Like 9/11 sucked, but my gosh, did we get some music out of it? Am I right?
We did.
Okay.
We truly did.
Let's move on.
Guys, we have a veritable brand new Andy Byron scandal on our hands. The face of it is Polish CEO, forgive me if I slaughter this name, but let me try. Piotr Jarek? He was seen in a video from a tennis game snatching a signed hat right out of the hands of an innocent little child.
It's literally a skit from a 90s movie. Like,
yeah, he's like comically evil.
It's the bit that Dane Cook did about smashing the ice cream cone in a kid's face because nobody will believe him if he does it. Here we go. Let's watch.
All right. So you can see, just snatches it shamelessly, and the kid is trying to ask for it back, but no one's listening, and then he just sticks it
in the bag.
And I guess his wife's bag. I don't even know.
His wife in on it?
If it's his
wife, she's an accomplice,
right? And my first thought was, this kid obviously didn't show up to this game alone, and his dad actually was the one who brought him. Where's his dad? This is when a fist fight ensues.
Yes. Yeah, defend your child's honor.
But his dad is nowhere to be seen.
Like, I mean, the real dad should be like, a reason, let's go.
And you know that the tennis player that signed the hat saw this happen. It was just like, not my problem.
The thing is, he doesn't know if he doesn't know if that's his dad.
Right, exactly.
So the tennis player did, I can't pronounce his name either. He did find out about this and reached out on Instagram to find the kid so that he could get him another hat, and then actually met him and took a photo.
Oh yeah, the tennis star posted a picture of them on his Instagram. And the little kid's name is Brock, giving Brock his time in the spotlight and showing that he finally got the hat to the person it was intended for. He has since explained he didn't even know Brock didn't get the hat and wanted to immediately make things right when he learned of the snatching. Yeah. As for Piotr Jarek, he is the millionaire CEO of a paving company in Poland called Drogbruck. After being called out, he appeared to defend himself in a since-deleted post on Poland's Go Work forum.
It's like their version of Glassdoor.
The recent incident at the tennis match has caused a disproportionate online uproar. It's all about the famous hat, of course. Yes, I took it. Yes, I did it quickly. But as I've always said, life is first come, first served. I understand that some people might not like it, but please, let's not make a global scandal out of the hat. It's just a hat. If you were faster, you would have it. Regarding online hate, I remind you that insulting a public figure is subject to legal liability. All offensive comments, slander, and insinuations will be analyzed for the possibility of taking the matter to court. So we're going to have to worry now about this guy suing us for talking about this.
Yeah. Sorry about this, bro, but my opinion is that you're kind of a scumbag.
You got caught in 4K.
The best he is. It's so comical. It's literally a movie villain. Like this is something you see in a comedy, and you joke about it later because you're like, nobody's actually like that.
He also said, in the end, chin up, hats off, less venom, more sportsmanship. What's so sportsmanlike about stealing a hat from the child?
He's got to be faster. The kid. He's teaching the kid an important life lesson.
He also addressed the controversy on social media and denied writing that message that was on the Go Work forum. It says, "Today I know that what I did looked like deliberately taking a souvenir from a child. That was not my intention, but it doesn't change the fact that I hurt the boy and disappointed the fans." He insisted that he believed he was being handed the cap for his sons and that he made a serious mistake. One careless moment can ruin years of work and support. I will continue to actively participate in initiatives supporting children and youth and in actions against violence and hate. I believe that only through actions can lost trust be rebuilt. This is the most corpo speak word salad
I'm guessing
ever.
It is my personal opinion that he didn't write that. So he didn't write the first one. The first one was what? Was fake?
I guess, but I don't know.
No, here's the thing. The first one comes across as fake. So like it didn't pass the smell test to me.
Well, it's now been deleted, so I guess we won't know for sure. But yeah, I think he at least had a better response if it's real than Andy Byron.
Yes.
Who capitulated from day one.
Yeah. And you made the first thing you thought of, because you hadn't seen the story of the weekend, was like maybe he was getting it for his kid.
He probably was.
He's like, I don't have.
He's like, my son is more important than your son.
You know, that's just your hierarchy of needs, right? You put your family first.
And as a Polish American, do you feel a certain affinity for this man?
We don't claim him.
He's not invited to the Polish cookout.
I'm so Americanized that I couldn't pronounce any of those names that you. Maybe that's why I never got identity politics, because it's like all I ever thought of when I thought of like heritage and pride was like, I don't listen to polka.
I'll have you know, I always knew the correct pronunciation of Dasovic. I
appreciate that.
I read it and I knew it was Dasovic.
I appreciate that.
Why is this so confusing for people?
Most people get it wrong, and that's. But the thing is, I never actually correct people. Like, especially if you're like midstream and somebody says it, you're like, whatever.
If the initial post is real, I have to chalk that up to an Eastern European sensibility.
Yeah, like, you know what? It's hard to survive.
They've had to suffer a lot in Poland, okay?
He's like, look,
you gotta fight for what you want in life.
He's like, look, we didn't get through the communists just by, giving trophies to everybody. Like,
He's
you
a
have
self-made man.
You have to, like, sometimes you have to steal a hat from a kid if you want to beat the commies.
It's just ruthless meritocracy. Conservatives should be behind this.
Hey, not just that, ruthless meritocracy in service of his child.
Right.
So,
and it's a traditional family man.
So
you know what? I'm on his side.
Why wasn't the kid there? That's the real question. Why wasn't the kid there? Guy couldn't.
If the kid really wanted that hat, he could have been scrappy for it. What are you going to do? Get into a fist fight with a 12-year-old?
And let's face it. Yeah, he starts screaming that he touched him inappropriately. That'll get him to give the hat back quickly.
How did people even recognize this guy from the crowd? The video is like blurry. He's wearing a hat. You can barely even tell what his face looks like. And somehow he was identified. Like, what's going on?
People can find, and still we know nothing about Thomas Crooks, about the guy who tried to kill Trump, right?
And no one who knows him has spoken out.
But this guy is like a blurry face in a crowd with this, like, it's not even his face, it's like the top of his head.
Yeah, he just looks like a generic white guy wearing a baseball cap, and you can barely even ascertain his facial features. Who even found out that it was him?
One of the comments is
the internet's scary.
One of the comments is most of the time cancel culture is horrible, but once in a blue moon it's magical.
You know what? I'm gonna defend the guy just to be a contrarian.
Whatever happened with Andy Byron?
Didn't he step down?
Did he step down? Like, what happened to Astronomer? Did they get like a huge bump after all that happened?
I thought him and the chick went on a permanent leave, right?
Is that what happened? I don't even remember.
I thought so. And then they hired Gwyneth Paltrow to do PR for them.
The best part about this story is like this is kind of indicative. Like now, I think it's why you have to like the next generation's always going to be uptight, because like literally nothing. Like you said, he's just a random guy in a crowd, and if you do something, you're gonna be identified.
Yeah, you can't
to the point where like now when somebody goes unidentified, especially if it's like an actual serious event in the culture, like if we're talking like violence and like, oh, there was a mass shooting, nobody knows who it was. Really?
Yeah.
He's in the CIA.
There's no such thing
He's in
as
the CIA. He works for the NSA. It's a psyop because they can find a Polish paving millionaire with nothing.
By the way, that's small time. He's not evil just because he's a millionaire. That means he's just a business owner. Mm-hmm. It's probably pretty easy to be a millionaire.
I mean, that's even worse. That means like it's not like he's like readily available, like he's got some big public profile because of his money. He's a working class millionaire who got identified.
Yeah, he's just a random guy, like basically upper middle class. It is true that you can't count on having any anonymity these days. Nope. Anonymity is completely a thing of the past. It just doesn't exist anymore. And you are being filmed at all times.
This is one of those things, like these things have been happening at baseball games for years where like, like a ball will go like hit the deck, it'll hit a chair, it'll go like bouncing through the bleachers, and like some adult will just bulldoze a kid to get to it.
Yeah.
Like, no shame.
Yeah, I mean, people get really crazy about stuff like that. Like, I was looking at the videos of people fighting over tote bags in Trader Joe's, and I was like, is this what we've been reduced to as a species? Like, you're fighting.
What's going on with that? I think Olivia was telling me about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What
is she trying to get one of the
Trader
Joe's
I think
tote bags?
she was just telling me about it. What's that story?
Yeah.
They have like annual like one of a kind tote bags, and they're going on eBay for like a ton of money now.
Trader Joe's has these limited edition canvas tote bags that they sell in the fall. And last year when they launched them, people were lining up wrapped around the building multiple times in every location, trying to get these tote bags, which are sold for $2.99, mind you. And then they were sold out so quickly that they ended up getting resold for hundreds of dollars, and I think in one case, $50,000.
Yeah. See, this is the thing. This is why I reject the notion that awfuls like affluent white liberal women can tell me that we live in a fascist dictatorship. You can either have the fascist dictatorship, or you can have bags wrapped around, lines wrapped around a corner for a bag at Aldi's.
It was at Trader Joe's.
Same thing.
Logo
like,
on it.
Okay, so you can either have the one-of-a-kind tote bags wrapped around a parking lot, or you can have a fascist dictatorship. You don't get to have both.
Bag lines over bread lines.
Yes, if you are getting one-of-a-kind bags instead of loaves of bread, then you don't live in a dictatorship. Yeah. I decree it to be so.
Little reality check for them.
Okay. All right. What would you like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
Let's see the cringe first.
Let me make sure. First of all, let me make sure that I've even got some cute of the day. Oh, we do have cute of the day. Okay, we're good for that. Just double checking to make sure. All right, cringe of the day. Here we go. Let me get rid of the last one. And here we go.
I can't tell how you're going to feel about this.
You show up to class and you want me to take you seriously as a student?
I take you seriously as a professor. I'm learning. Like, what is my beverage of choice? I'm a milk guy.
Mr.
Big milk
Burns,
guy.
it's on your shirt.
Well, that's because you're making me nervous. Like, my hands are shaking when I'm trying to drink a milk. Come on. Are you kidding? Like, you're sitting here yelling at me. I don't. Somewhere our wires got crossed. I'm sitting here.
This is the fakest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
And I had the notes.
Crossed?
I had the notes.
I'm the professor of this classroom. I've never, ever had a student show up in my classroom with a bottle of milk.
I have the notes. I'm drinking milk. You're saying there's a problem.
God forbid.
Where do you find this shit?
That's just my algorithm.
Why is your algorithm so cursed?
I did not ask you to please leave my classroom because I care about every student in this classroom. I want you all to
But
learn.
not the milk guy. Nobody cares about the milk guy. Nobody cares about the milk guy.
Either chug it or put it down. One or the other.
You're gonna make me do it, aren't you? And you're gonna watch.
Why not?
Oh my God. I can't watch. Thank God it's over.
He's a milk guy.
That was disgusting, and that was fake. I refuse to
think it was
believe that
fake?
that was real.
It was one of those skit troops.
It's gotta be, you know. And she's like, I'm a professor in this classroom.
I mean, professors can be pretty dramatic.
See, this is what AI is for. Somebody needs to replace Jordan Peterson here, and make Jordan Peterson yell at this guy for drinking milk.
Whose side are you on?
I'm on his side.
You think it's okay to drink the milk
I mean, I wouldn't.
in class?
I wouldn't, but yeah, that's his business. It's his beverage of choice.
If I saw him drinking the milk, though, I would be like, "Why do you want attention so bad?"
Yeah, yes, it would
Like,
definitely
you're
like
just
you
trying
couldn't
way
even
too
you
hard
couldn't
to
even
be
put it in
quirky.
like a smaller thing or in
Yeah.
like a regular bottle.
Also, if you're having a whole, what is that, a half gallon?
Half gallon.
He's drinking a half gallon of milk. Once you get even like halfway through that, it's gonna be lukewarm.
Yeah.
Like, you're not even drinking cold milk at that point. It's just room temp milk
No,
the rest of your day.
when he hit her with the corpo lingo, somewhere our wires got crossed.
Yeah.
I felt that.
He kind of mogged her in that
He
moment.
did kind of get her in that moment. Okay, well, let's go ahead and do cute of the day. In fact, we're going to show 2 here since these will be the
Okay.
last cutes of the day until I get back. So this one's from Marianne. It says, Rain's application for cute of the day. She's a 17-year-old Chihuahua.
Very
She
cute.
is very cute.
She looks like she can barely hold her head up.
She looks like she's tired. She needs
Yeah.
a nap. All right, let's do one more here. This one's from Isla. It says,
Isla, I think.
is it Isla? Okay. Luna's application for PCC's cute of the day.
Very
Aw,
cute.
That is a very cute one right there. Isla.
Pretty cat.
Okay. All right, let's get started.
Chris Columbus, the director of the 2001 Harry Potter movie, has just done an interview with the Times of London where he was asked for his thoughts on the upcoming HBO Harry Potter series and whether he would make a new film in the Harry Potter franchise, which he has not been asked to do. He is coming off as very unemployed in this interview, but here's what he had to say. It was quite shady. Columbus previously stated that he wanted to direct a film adaptation of the stage show, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, using the original movie cast. But since then, J.K. Rowling, trans controversy, has made any potential adaptation impossible. It's never going to happen. It's gotten so complicated with all the political stuff. Everyone in the cast has their own opinion, which is different from her opinion, which makes it impossible. I haven't spoken to Miss Rowling in a decade or so I have no idea what's going on with her. But I keep very close contact with Daniel Radcliffe, and I just spoke to him a few days ago. I still have a great relationship with all the kids in the cast. He was also talking about the TV series, saying, I'm anxious to see what they do, but from what I've seen already, they're basically doing the same thing we did, only because they have 8 episodes, they get to do more of it. He says he's not especially excited about the new cast, including John Lithgow as Dumbledore
he just
and Nick
sounds
Frost
so
as Hagrid.
bitter.
You have to understand that when Richard Harris passed away and Michael Gambon took over as Dumbledore, that transition, even back then, was difficult for me. So now it's difficult imagining anyone else in those roles. I still see Alan Rickman, I still see Maggie Smith and Robbie Coltrane. It's part of my DNA and I can't get beyond it. So other comments he was making about the series were like, why do we need to do this again? It's not adding anything new to the cinematic universe of Harry Potter.
Well,
It's
neither
just-
would his adaptation
Yeah.
of The Cursed Child, but that's not what they're asking him.
Right. He was never offered any sort of creative role in the HBO series. He only directed one of the movies. Or was it 2? 2 of the
It was 2?
movies.
I think somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I thought it was 2.
You
I
would
might be
have
wrong.
more room to talk if you had directed all of the movies.
Yeah.
Then maybe people would listen to you. But you just sound like a has-been who's riding the coattails of this franchise that has nothing to do with you anymore. And you're using it as an opportunity to throw some jabs at J.K. Rowling, who you likely disagree with. I know he didn't explicitly state his thoughts on the trans issue, which is J.K. Rowling's, pet activism. But you can surmise from what he said that he's not sympathetic to her point of view.
I mean, he says everyone in the cast has their own opinion, which is different from J.K. Rowling's opinion. He's saying everybody else believes this. Right. She believes this. Unfortunately, there's only one opinion that matters at this here OK Corral, and that's her opinion because she's the one who created it.
Like she's the odd woman out for taking these stances, when in reality,
he
a lot
did
of
do
these
the first two.
A lot of these creatives and talent probably agree with her, and they just don't talk about it openly because it would hurt their careers and they don't want to get into the fray. But J.K. Rowling did see this interview, and she responded to it in a lengthy post on X, calling out Chris Columbus. She says, "As another man who once worked with me declares himself saddened by my beliefs on gender and sex, I thought it might be useful to compile a list for handy reference. Which of the following do you imagine makes actors and directors who aren't involved with the HBO reboot of Harry Potter so miserable?" And you can really tell with the way that this post is written that she is an author.
Yes.
"Is it my belief that women and girls should have their own public changing rooms and bathrooms? That women should retain female-only rape crisis centers, that men don't belong in women's sports, that female prisoners shouldn't be incarcerated with violent men, male sex offenders, that women should remain in a protected class in law because they have sex-specific needs and issues, that language should reflect reality rather than ideological jargon, especially in a medical context, that women shouldn't be harassed, persecuted, or fired for refusing to pretend humans can change sex, that women should not be threatened with violence and rape when they assert their rights, that freedom of speech and belief are essential to a pluralistic democratic society, that troubled minors, especially those who are gay, autistic, and trauma experienced, should be given mental health support instead of irreversible surgeries and drug treatments on non-existent evidence of benefit, that gay people shouldn't be pressured to include the opposite sex in their dating pools, nor should they be smeared as genital fetishists when they don't, that cross-dressing heterosexual male fetishists aren't actually oppressed, but having the time of their lives piggybacking off gender identity ideology. That said ideology, and the privileged blinkered fools pushing it because they suffer zero consequences themselves, have done more damage to the political left's credibility than Trump and Farage could have achieved in a century. Let me have your thoughts. So that's a lot to take in, but...
You know what I think she does every time she decides to respond to someone? I think she goes like this.
Cracks her knuckles and gets to work, and there's just smoke rising up from the laptop as she goes.
Literally think that she gets like this elated feeling as she types. Like her shoulders go like this.
Well, because she's an author.
And she gets taller.
She's an author, and she made this a very emotionally evocative post. So there's a lot there. And I do think it's a bit of an overreaction to what Chris Columbus said, honestly.
No, I disagree. I think that as long as he's like, he's speaking on her name out of nowhere.
He started it, so he deserves whatever backlash he gets, for sure. But he definitely didn't speak on the trans issue or his stance on it. He also didn't say that he was saddened by her beliefs about it, which is something that she said at the beginning of the post. He declared himself saddened by her beliefs. That wasn't a part of the interview.
I think he has said that in the past. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Maybe that was a past comment that he gave and I'm not aware of it, but at least from what I read in his recent interview, that wasn't mentioned. She's now responding to a lot of the responses underneath her post, and one of them piqued my interest. So this person said, "I'll make a wild guess and say it's because they weren't asked to be involved in the HBO reboot and needed a fashionable reason to save professional face while trying to appear noble and virtuous. I wager none of them at heart really believes that men can become women." J.K. Rowling responded saying one of them, she didn't name who this was, tried very hard to enlist my help in getting a major part in the HBO reboot. Only after he didn't get it did he decide it was time to put the boot in. So she's referring to some male actor who was trying to reach out to her to get hired as one of the cast members on the HBO series.
Yeah.
And then when he didn't get the part, he spoke out against her. I have no idea who that might be.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that was interesting. And
I mean, that could be anybody. I'm sure a lot of people were up trying to get those roles.
further than that, she was just waxing poetic about the moral indignation that she rightly feels. I agree with her stance on this issue and this issue alone. I think she's, for the most part, a generic lib and a feminist, but she happens to be right on this issue.
There was the more annoying thing that I saw was Entertainment Weekly reporting basically something that she never said and invoking the idea of transphobia, about saying that her comments in the past about it were her saying that she did not want trans individuals to have, to be given hate crime protections. And they kind of ended the quote early and then went off into their own interpretation of what that quote meant, and then didn't actually hyperlink to what she was actually talking about.
I mean, I don't think anyone should have hate crime protections.
The point is they were framing it that way when that's not what she was saying.
Well, what she's saying is that the trans population should not be recognized as a marginalized group. She doesn't think that that is a category that exists because...
So this is what it said. The author has routinely here, I'll put it up on the screen here. The author has routinely posted anti-trans rhetoric, stating that she'd, quote, happily do 2 years, and end quote. That's where the quote ends. In prison, rather than support policies protecting transgender individuals from hate crimes and publicly celebrating a UK Supreme Court decision that ruled womanhood is a legally defined by biological sex. So it does hyperlink there. And then, of course, that's not what the tweet was. It says, I'd happily do 2 years if the alternative is compelled speech and forced denial of the reality and importance of sex. Bring on the court case. I'll say it'll be more fun than I've ever had on a red carpet, which is nothing to do with her saying anything about protections against hate crimes. They added that and then ended the quote to manipulate what she said.
Well, I'm fairly confident that she is saying the trans population should not be legally recognized as a marginalized group.
Yeah, but they're invoking they used the quote and then they ended the quote and then they invoked further. That's their interpretation.
To be fair, I understand that J.K. Rowling has been a really important voice on this specific issue, especially in the UK with their Supreme Court ruling on biological sex. And that's great and everything, but don't forget that she is a mainstream lib on literally every other issue except this one. She has never spoken about the threat that women face in the UK from migrants, for instance.
Well,
She's
everybody's
never going to speak out on an issue like that, which is actually far more prevalent than the threat that women face from men who identify as women invading their spaces, because just in absolute numbers, there are more migrants physically threatening women on a daily basis in the UK than dudes wearing dresses.
Everybody's got their pet issue. This is just the issue she chooses to focus on.
And that's fine. She's contributed a lot to the culture and to discourse on this specific issue, which has seen a significant sea change in recent years.
This was funny. She says, today I found out that the audio pre-orders for the Hallmarked Man have been the highest in Hatchet's history. Thank you, Strike and Robin fans. So it's about the audiobook for her new CB Strike book. And somebody says the devastating impact of trans activists trying to cancel you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not hurting
It's just
her.
not bearing out in the numbers, and it won't when the series comes out.
It's a true ode to capitalism that if you create something so influential, so monumental that the culture literally shifts around it, you can have pretty much any opinion you want.
Also, J.K. Rowling's statement about, the talent being miserable about her stance on the trans issue is obviously a nod to the fact that people are choosing to work with her even in the face of a lot of backlash, including some new casting announcements that came out over the weekend, including Warwick Davis, who will return as Professor Phileas Flitwick in the new reboot series. And
there was
another announcement.
Yeah, there was a guy who plays Goyle, looks just like the guy who played Goyle in the original. I'm annoyed by this, okay? If it's going to be a reboot all of it. Yeah. DC is doing this right now with Harcourt and with, I'm assuming they're doing it with Amanda Waller and with the Peacemaker characters. Nah, if you're going to reboot, you should be rebooting everything and not just, it's not a grab bag. This isn't an a la carte menu. You reboot entirely or you don't reboot at all. It's like
when you make Severus Snape black.
Well,
you kind of have to throw people a bone.
Well, I mean, they're doing
to gain back the goodwill.
The thing is, I don't even think they need to do that in this case because the casting, otherwise, if purely on looks alone, if you can find, and I'm sure like somebody has them pulled up here, like the casting has been spot on for everybody else. Like everybody else looks exactly like very close to the person that they're playing before them.
Except for Ron Weasley's
Snape.
Mom and Snape.
So Ron Weasley's mom is a little thin. Yeah. Yes, that's true.
She can easily fix that.
And then, they'll be like, eat some donuts before the show.
But in the UK, they like pudding.
Yeah, have some shepherd's pie.
Yeah.
She's a little thin. And of course, Snape is not right. And then some people have made the same claims about Hermione, who is of a darker complexion, but still looks spot on to the character.
Yeah. I don't care as much about the supposed race swap of Hermione because she just seems like she has like olive skin.
And she's a very charming young lady who seems to be very excited to do it. And
she has the voice and the accent and the affect that they were looking for. But ultimately, this isn't going to prevent anyone from working with J.K. Rowling. And I bet if Chris Columbus were offered an opportunity, he would have taken it. He's just a little bitter.
Yeah, he would have just stayed quiet about it then. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to some super chats.
Shane H. Wilder said, wearing white after Labor Day, we got some rebels. Yeah.
I still don't get it.
You're not supposed to... You've never heard about that before?
No, I get it, but I don't know why.
It was just a sign that you're part of the aristocracy if you understood the unspoken rule that in the fall you stop wearing light colors. You start wearing dark colors.
Nobody would ever... accuse me of being aristocratic. That is for sure.
I mean, I just wore it to be a contrarian because I knew about that rule.
There is a 20 on Rumble from Grunmeister. It says, I'm wearing all black because Mary isn't. It's definitely not because I didn't about wearing white today. Maybe didn't know about.
No?
Yeah.
I thought everyone knew that. I've been hearing about this for years. Brian Bledsoe said, is the Roku going on the honeymoon?
Yes, it's already packed.
Amazing.
Yeah, sorry. It's coming with the Roku stays on. the Roku's coming with.
Moon at Noon said, congratulations, Brett wasn't invited. Here's $2.
Thank you. Is that to insinuate that it would have been
It
would have been more if we had invited you?
Yeah, what's that about? Greg Duvier.
Do one more.
Brett, glad you survived your allergic reaction. Also, congratulations to both you and Olivia, and have a safe honeymoon. Also, marriage is awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Brett
I did survive.
Had a bit of an incident, in case you didn't see his tweet.
Yeah, so over the weekend, I had I'm not, at least as far as I know, I was never known to be allergic to anything growing up. I've never had allergic reactions before to anything, and we were on the way home from Target, and we got these, actually, I'm not even gonna say what it was.
You don't want to say what it was?
No.
Why?
Just probably people preying on my downfall. I'm not giving the evidence on how to
I didn't know that you were the paranoid type.
How to take me out. But the point is, I had a severe acute allergic reaction. My chest constricted very, very quickly. It was mildly terrible. Like, if you don't know that you're having an allergic reaction because you've never had allergic reactions before, I thought I was having a heart attack. I was like, all of the years of Adderall and Monster energy drinks have finally caught up with me, and I'm having a heart attack, and I'm going to die a week before my wedding. Luckily, that's not what it was. I basically, my chest constricted. I could not breathe. I passed out and came to and had to go to the hospital, where then I was there. I got blood work done. I got a chest CT done with contrast, multiple EKGs. And after a while, look, there's few places you would rather spend on a Friday night. There's few worse places than the ER on a Friday night. It was awful, but I'm okay.
Did you have a wait time or were you good?
Oh, we were there for 6 hours.
You waited for 6 hours?
So they got me in initially to draw the blood because I couldn't stand up. Like I made it in there on my own power. I'm like, they're not bringing me in on a freaking
gurney.
On a gurney, and they're not bringing me in on a wheelchair. That's not going to happen. I walked in there, but I was having a hard time standing, and they immediately brought me back to do the blood work and to do the first EKG. But then after that, you're put it back out in the lobby, and you're basically like priority 2 or priority 3. I was a priority 2. And it took about 6 hours all in by the time I was out of there.
Oh, okay.
It was awful.
Well, at least you didn't have to wait out there for 6 hours.
It was about
Yikes.
3 before I got back for the CT, and then another hour after that.
At that point, you just have to start pretending to seize on the floor.
Yeah, basically. It was not.
We're all glad that Brett's okay.
Yeah.
Not going to say what it is either.
People kept asking, and I was like, I'm not telling anybody.
Are you worried that somebody is going to like try to give you the
somebody's like, I don't like Tim, so I'm going to give
poison?
you this. Yeah.
Okay, but I'm not going to say what it is. It does sound good though, and I want to try this food item.
Somebody in the chat says, poor Brett, obviously, but poor Olivia. She must have been just scared that you were going to die before the wedding. Yeah, what? Like I was like, I kept apologizing to her. I'm like, I'm so sorry that you have to see this. It was terrifying, but luckily the upside to all of this was like they got the blood work back and then the chest CT back. They're like, no, your heart looks good. No, your blood works good. See, I haven't been to the doctor in like I had to go to the ER twice, for the shoulder and then for the finger that had to be like fixed. But I haven't had like a checkup in like 15 years. So when they're like, no, this looks good. This looks good. And I'm like, let's go 15 more years. But no, we're going to go to an allergist after we get back to double check on everything and make sure that everything's, we know what it is and all that stuff. But you guys will not be knowing.
Did it taste good though?
Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
It would be so crazy if I tried it and I had an allergic reaction too.
Then it's just because.
Then they need to recall.
Then it's like maybe they're out to get us. Who knows?
Maybe it's a conspiracy to
take
us out.
But it was not a good way to spend a Friday night. And then, I did get out the rest of the weekend. I skated Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And let's face it, killing a couple of hours at the doctor's office on Friday is good for the waistline. You don't put on any weight if you're just sitting there not eating. So
fluids only.
Fluids only. All right, let's move on.
Okay. Over the weekend, it was announced that Chloe Grace Moretz has married her longtime girlfriend, a model named Kate Harrison, after 8 years. And this is just a year after Chloe Grace Moretz came out to the world as a lesbian, actually. And I was confused because I, for one, forgot that ever happened. I was like, who comes out in 2024? Is that even a thing anymore? Like, you can just be gay and literally no one cares.
Yeah, but in Hollywood, it's good for headlines for a period of time.
Yeah. The photos came out and they got this huge spread in Vogue. Chloe was wearing this blue gown instead of a traditional white wedding gown. Meanwhile, Kate Harrison was wearing a white gown. It's interesting because a lot of lesbians, when they get married, one of them does tend to wear a suit, I have noticed. One of them chooses to be the groom. However that works, maybe someone can enlighten me about the unspoken rules of all that. Who proposes? It's so topsy-turvy. I can't make heads or tails of it.
I was like 30 when I realized it was topsy-turvy rather than turby.
Turby? Yeah, it's topsy-turvy.
Yeah, I didn't learn that well, I guess not recently, but definitely was not young when I realized that. Go on.
So Chloe is 28, Kate Harrison is 34. They've been together, I believe, since 2016.
Okay.
They said a big part of the wedding was about sharing things that Kate and I love with everyone that's going to be there. Fishing, horseback riding, and poker. Our second day, line dancing.
As somebody who's getting married, let me just say that sounds expensive.
It does.
That just sounds really
They
expensive.
also had all of their couture custom designed by Louis Vuitton, so I don't think money is any object for them.
That kick-ass money must still be coming in.
Yeah, and then she talked about choosing to wear this blue dress. It feels like me. I never really envisioned a wedding dress in my mind growing up. So when we started talking about what it would look like, I knew I would do something non-traditional and not wear white and have it feel different.
Is this something you think about? I know the meme is like every little girl dreams of her wedding day. Did you have these thoughts? Do you have these thoughts?
All girls/women, like if I could say 99.9% of them, think about their wedding, what they wanted to look and feel like,
actually,
and what they want to wear.
There's a Pew Research study that says that actually only 94%. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I remember this video from a street interview at Liberty University. Asked a bunch of female and male students, like, how often do you think about your future wedding? Mm-hmm. And all of the women, of course, said like they think about it multiple times a day, every day. Because they're students at Liberty University, like, of course they do.
And the guys were like...
And the guys weren't as often saying the same thing, but some of them were, because they go to Liberty. But I would imagine even if you went to just a random street corner and asked a bunch of women in that age range that same question, they would still say they often think of their wedding day and, you know, the dress and the everything. But this just is a big question mark for me. This whole concept of a same-sex wedding, because you have completely thrown all tradition out the window, but you have to keep the appearances of some of them, and you kind of pick and choose from a buffet of like which traditions you want to keep and which ones you throw in the garbage.
I mean, that feels like, if I'm being honest, like that feels like most of society today in general, like beyond just whether it's same sex or not, is like a lot of it feels like people treat... I'm only saying this because I didn't know how many traditions there were in a wedding until I got engaged, and then I learned just how, like, I didn't even know that like women considered the getting a KitchenAid for your wedding or for your either for your bridal shower or part of your registry was like a rite of passage amongst women and stuff like that. So I feel like in society today, because we live in a more increasingly secular world, that the meaning of the traditions is all but lost. Like nobody really knows. Like you could ask them, like, what does this tradition even mean? And most of them wouldn't be able to tell you what it means. They just know you're supposed to do it. And the wedding industry is such a capitalist racket that it's not about tradition as the idea of tradition states. It's about monetized rituals to make wedding planners more money and give your weddings a semblance of order. Mm-hmm. And it's got very little to do with whatever the original meaning
it's part of an itinerary.
Yeah. Like I don't think that that's relegated to just people who are getting married that are gay. I think a lot of it is like, I think it's just been lost.
Well, there are some traditions that truly don't matter, in my opinion.
Cake cutting.
Yeah, who cares whether you cut the cake together or whether you throw the bouquet or you do the garter toss or you do the first dance or this type of song or whatever. I say all of that is up to your own interpretation.
Okay.
Even the color of the wedding dress, because personally I don't want to wear a white wedding dress and I don't think it matters.
Hot take right there, ladies and gentlemen.
It is a hot take, but it's like, I'm not saying other people shouldn't.
Do you have a color you want to wear?
I'm going to probably go for something like black or gray. But I'm just saying those traditions are superficial. A tradition I would say is not superficial, but actually essential to making a wedding an actual ceremony of any importance is like the participants being a man and a woman. Obviously, I'm coming at this from the perspective of a religious person. I'm Catholic, and I don't believe that this is a real wedding. It's a party, and everyone is just playing along.
But this
is not a sacrament.
But that's what happened the second that the government, like the second that it took the state to recognize your marriage, it's no longer about being a sacrament anymore. Like we were talking about earlier.
No,
most people.
No, you're coming at this from the perspective that there should be inherently this cavern between the purview of the government and the purview of the church, and I believe in no such distinction, and I don't think that such a distinction should exist. So you're getting married. This is a public act. That's why you have witnesses. There are people who are witnessing the ceremony. They're not just there to take photos. You're involving your community in this. You're becoming a family, the building block of any society. This is a public act. It's not just you and what you want. Therefore, it is of the public's concern what you're doing there and what it represents and what it means for the rest of us. So I do think that the government should recognize marriage, and that is something that should be civilly recognized as a category, not just for tax breaks purposes, but also because this is the most fundamental building block of any society. And, you know, we're 10 years on from, you know, the legislation that gay marriage is fully permitted in this country. It feels like it's been way longer because we've gone down a massive slippery slope since then. But it hasn't been until recent years and maybe even recent months that I've seen commentary like I saw about this specific story. The first response I saw to the headline about Chloe Grace Moretz getting married says, LMAO, come on. It's not...
Where did you see it?
It's on X.
Yeah.
It's just from a meme page that said like LMAO at the idea of two women getting married. And it says a lot more about where we're at as a culture than, I don't know, Ben Shapiro going on a rant about what traditional marriage is supposed to be based on biblical values. Like, this is just straight up mockery. And I understand where it comes from because I feel the same way. This is just a couple of people playing house. And it's something that actually warrants this level of mockery, of ridicule. And it's not even someone going out of their way to be cruel. They're just saying like, LOL. Like, at the idea that you think this compares to a sacrament between a man and a woman who can start a family together. That is an LOL from me.
Okay. I mean, I think part of that might be algorithmic, which is like the people who may hold ideas closer to yours are going to show up in your feed because every time you like, I don't know if you're actually pretty specific about your likes on
I don't
X.
even like it.
Yeah,
I don't like anything. I just save stories about celebrities.
That's actually worse. Like that, like, so the save button destroys your algorithm. I was saving the memes about the movie Savant last night. I woke up this morning and I saw nothing except for stuff like that.
I like my algo.
But the point is like, I guess culturally, I see your point in that like mockery from a meme page is actually probably more indicative of a cultural shift than Ben Shapiro doing some video about it.
Doing like a 15-minute monologue about God's design for marriage.
But I do think that algorithmically, like, we're all kind of it's kind of like a fishbowl. You can only see out so much as to what is actually going on in the world, and that the argument people are making is that given what's happened, like recent incidents, is that public opinion on these things has shifted a great deal. But I don't know if it's shifted so much that I buy that people are upset that Chloe Grace Moretz is marrying her girlfriend of 8 years. And we could get into a whole discussion about the role of government in these things. And we could get into a whole discussion about where, you know, the power of the church ends and the power of the government begins. All that stuff. Maybe it's just me and I'm kind of boxed into the fact that I'm about to get married, but I can't find myself angry at two adults getting married. And, you know, like, you know me, this doesn't bother me. But we could discuss the 8-year relationship part, which seems to be an even bigger discussion these days. Everybody wants to talk about forever boyfriends. What about forever girlfriends?
I didn't think that stood out, honestly, because the dynamic between a man and a woman in a relationship is just, it's so different than a lesbian relationship that it doesn't even draw any comparisons whatsoever. Like, they literally have nothing in common. Nothing.
I guess when I see this story, in lieu of like all of the things that are going on in the culture, all this feels like as I'm reading something from 2017 or 2018. It doesn't even rate for me. Like,
well, in 2017 or 2018, you would not see responses like this.
No, I'm talking about the initial story itself, not the response from the person. And look, the thing is, in 2018, we've already been told that algorithmically people were being suppressed during the Jack Dorsey reign of Twitter. So it's very likely that opinion existed at that time. It was just being suppressed by the powers that be on the platform.
Perhaps, but the censorship also creates people's opinions. If you're not exposed to those opinions because of censorship, that actually changes public sentiment. So when criticism of something is censored, you're actually going to have less people who are critical of it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's... For her, she's, I don't even know what, last thing I saw her in was The Peripheral. So I don't know what she's doing. I don't know what she's doing these days. It was very boring. And you said the other lady's a model?
Yeah, I had never heard of her in my life.
Not somebody I'd ever heard of.
I also saw the recycled 4chan post about Chloe Grace Moretz here. I want to actually send this to you because it references this photo of her, this paparazzi photo. I don't even know if I want to read this out loud. No, it's too vulgar. It's too vulgar.
Okay.
But if you know, you know. Yes. One of the responses also said, imagine the pay-per-view after they get married. Another one said, the lesbian meme is way out of control. It was funny at first, but enough's enough. It is mimetic. Yeah. Like if you... and that's my point of view. If you identify as such, I think that is a form of mimetic desire that doesn't actually reflect, your natural instincts. Another response said, where was it? It was like saying that like lesbians have the shortest marriages statistically. Another one said, must be nice having no skin in the game when war comes around. That one stood out to me.
Unless they
I guess you're not going to have a husband who goes off to war when World War III pops off. We're roommates that go out for dinner together on these things called dates. Coffee shops are our personality.
Look, this is...
And it's true. It's just, it's sort of a perversion of friendship, and friendship between two people of the same sex is a beautiful and necessary thing. And this is a twisting of that. And everyone who's pretending it's the same thing as a man and a woman getting married are absolutely delusional and kind of, I think you're coping. I think it's a cope.
I don't know if I'm delusional, but to them, I hope they're happy. I hope they stay together for a very long time and they end up, happy endings for everybody.
Like getting a surrogate or something?
I didn't say anything about kids. All I said is that I hope they're happy and go on with your life. And, that blue was a very specific shade of blue.
Let's go to some super
Let's
chats.
Do it.
Wyatt Caldenberg said, I know OC from Discord. Brett, you got a good one. I saw you two in Discord. Your kids make a cute couple. Oh, you kids make a cute couple. Sorry.
Well, thank you.
Remember, a good marriage is hard work.
Luckily, I am not averse to hard work, so we'll make it happen.
I can tell when you're in the middle of photoshopping a thumbnail and you're erasing pixel by pixel.
It's like nobody's going to accuse me of half-daying it today. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing that happened. So, there's a crisis of my own making with the scheduling that I made the mistake on. So I'm going through that. We're renting the car so that we can travel. We have to deal with the, just like when you order a pizza and there's all these fees on top of fees and suddenly your 2 pizzas for $5.99 ends up being $50 and you have no idea how. The same thing happens when you're renting a car. So I'm coming into work, going through that. There's the people sending me messages on Slack, and then traffic is backed up and nobody's moved in 20 minutes. And I have to turn around and go back 20 minutes the other way to come into work because of, the way the roads are out here.
Yeah.
Everything bottlenecks, and there's exactly one way to get into work. And if that one way is messed up, then God help us all. So on top of that,
There was
not my day today.
I know you can't relate, but when we had to when the bridge was closed down.
Yeah, I felt bad for you guys during that.
Oh my gosh. An hour to work every day in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
Sucked so hard.
Yeah.
Shane H. Wilder said, can confirm Brett and Olivia is good people, and congratulations to them. Aw heck, Mary is good people too, and will handle Brett's absence swimmingly.
Yeah.
I'm sure I will.
Yep.
We'll manage.
I think we're gonna get Alex in here on Thursday. I gotta get her again, this is all my fault. Like, I got Tate all ready to go, and then I gave him the wrong dates because I'm literally an idiot. So
You might have seen Alex on Inverted World.
Yep.
Corey Anderson said, rather take Sydney to Ben than Sabrina.
To Ben.
Who's Ben?
Ben Shapiro? Is that? See, if Sydney Sweeney
I'm
really
so
wanted to start
confused.
if Sydney Sweeney really wanted to start a firestorm, that's who she'd be dating. But unfortunately, Ben Shapiro's married, so that can't happen.
Right.
There any single guys over there at the Daily Wire she could leak rumors of dating with? Or are they all married?
I think they're all married. Yeah. I could be wrong, but I think they're all married.
I think they are.
That would be crazy, though.
Like Alec,
that would go crazy.
Sydney Sweeney has been rumored to be dating Andrew Clavin.
Maybe she could date, like, if one of them has an adult son.
Yes.
I don't know.
Andrew Clavin's got to have adult kids, right?
Well, he has a son, but his son is gay. So I don't know how that would work.
There goes that plan.
Darn.
Let's hold off on the
Yeah.
rest. We'll come back after.
We'll have to workshop
We'll have to
that.
do a whole episode workshopping who in conservative media we could leak rumors of Sydney Sweeney dating to.
The Swiftie fandom is in complete pandemonium right now. Hence, this poem that I came across over the weekend. This is a poem written by a Swiftie named Kaylin Weir. And it's getting a lot of attention right now. It's incredibly emotionally impactful. The day Taylor Swift got engaged, little girls screamed, grown women cried, and the awkward child we all carry inside finally felt chosen.
See, I didn't see this initial post. All I saw was a response, like a quote tweet that said, "I can't believe these people actually walk amongst us."
They do. It's kind of terrifying. So, you know, recognizing the emotional volatility of the average Swiftie and the impact that this engagement announcement has had on them, you will understand why they are directing their fury at her ex-boyfriend, Maddie Healy's new fiance, who's named Gabriette Bechtel. I'll explain why. It's not just because Gabriette is dating someone that Taylor Swift once dated. That would be no big deal, right? But Gabriette obviously has to be on social media like the rest of us, and she saw the engagement announcement, she saw the album announcement and all that, and she commented on a Skit content creator's post. This influencer is named Veronica. She was making up what she thinks the track list on Life of a Showgirl is going to sound like as a little joke. And it appears that she has since deleted this video, actually. But Gabriette commented on it, saying that she wanted her to record a spoof version of the track Actually Romantic, which is track number 7 on the Perspective album.
Okay.
And that's all that she said. She just requested a spoof of one of the songs that doesn't even exist. It hasn't even reached anyone's ears yet. And this was taken by the Swiftie fandom as a specific dig at Taylor.
And they got very mad.
They went to extreme lengths to show they were not going to let this one slide. So all she did was like that video and comment on it. Here were some of the responses from Swifties following that. That Gabriette woman is so uninteresting and untalented. Her only personality is obsessing about her druggy fiance's ex. Does he not give you any attention? Because we can tell. Another Swiftie said, we should take it easy. Gabriette has been through so much. First, she needs to stare at Maddie Healy every morning. Then she'll be further punished with having Denise as a mother-in-law. On top of that, she's friends with Charlie XCX. And they have a problem with Charlie XCX because on the Brat album, Charlie made this song called Sympathy is a Knife, which is directed pretty blatantly at Taylor Swift.
Okay.
At the time that she wrote the song, Taylor Swift was still dating Maddie Healy, and Charlie XCX is married to Maddie Healy's bandmate and childhood friend. So they had to interact a lot, and she was incredibly jealous of Taylor Swift for just being the absolute greatest commercial success and beauty queen ever. Meanwhile, Charlie XCX is like scraping by on an SNL performance and a Kamala Harris endorsement and a dream.
She's got a cameo.
Anyway, Gabriette and Charlie XCX are friends. Gabriette is obviously not friends with Taylor Swift because that would make things incredibly awkward.
I don't think any of these people are friends. I think they're allies, accomplices, if you will.
So Swifties came up with this actually quite creative way to target Gabriette on social media. I haven't even seen this attempted before, but what they did is they invaded her tagged photos on Instagram with messages like the one you're about to see. They tagged her in photos that consecutively say KYS and a bunch of photos of Taylor Swift as well.
That's just evil. That's just kind of evil.
This one Swiftie is trying to police this behavior, saying, "Please leave Gabriette alone now. This is unfunny and not Swiftism. Have some shame."
Remember these types of events when people talk about how women would be inherently more empathetic world leaders?
That's funny.
Like, think about that. Like, every so often that you get into this debate about how women would naturally be better leaders because they have more empathy. They have the ability to truly care about other people. Also women.
Right. The most petty shit imaginable. Like, these women would all hit the big red button in the Oval Office.
Like, no, it's like the meme was like after they named the very first female umpire in baseball. Babylon B had a meme. It says like, first female umpire ejects player for something he did in a dream last night.
Well, in this second screenshot, you can see Swifties tagging Gabriette on Instagram in photos of her that I guess weren't very flattering. Captioned, "You look like a..."
We can't say that word.
It's a word that starts with the letter T and rhymes with...
Granny.
Granny. Yes.
You can't say that on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's rude.
Yeah.
It's rude. And again...
She is not, by the way. She's a biological female.
This is about somebody that none of these people will ever meet.
One of these reactions from a Swiftie said, "Clocked in to see what these Swifties were actually up to. Mind you, a full 24 hours into harassing a woman who did nothing. And would you look at that? Transphobia. What a lovely, normal fandom. Make the friendship bracelets, am I right?" I think that's what bothers people the most, is that Taylor Swift has this wholesome Chungus image. And so do her fans.
It's dichotomous.
And then you look at their actual behavior and you see, at the very minimum, Taylor Swift is a ruthless businesswoman who is only out for herself. And her life is a performance.
Yeah.
And her fans are not just petty, but kind of sociopathic. Yeah. And this is how they behave unchecked. Yeah. And Taylor Swift obviously can do nothing to police the way that her fans behave online. I'm not saying that she should, job. And not that she is responsible for them. But it says a lot when people are this committed to keeping up the public image of being wholesome chunguses who just like singing songs and
also KYS.
Kumbaya around the fire, and we're swapping our friendship bracelets and making cookies, and we just wish that everyone could be happy and be nice to Taylor. But this is the reality of it. They're psycho.
The tweet that I always, I've reposted it multiple times. The absolute worst person you've ever met in your entire life. The meanest, most awful individual has a "Be Kind" sticker on the back of their car. And that's just it's weird. It's just the way humanity works.
$0
to be kind.
To be kind.
It also costs $0
to not be a
mean.
shitty person.
Yeah. What they don't tell you during that is that their idea of what a shitty person is very rigid, in that if you don't fall into the category of nice person, they're going to be awful to you because, they don't realize that they're culturally very much leftists and Marxists, and they believe the ends justify the means, because as long as their actions are what they view as pure, then any bad behavior is excused.
These are people whose core belief about themselves and about the world is, I am a good person. I am a decent effing human trademark.
And
That's their entire worldview.
And the sad thing is like, I don't like it, but at least in the service of like ruthlessly evil political goals, I kind of get it. You know, you're an evil bastard. You want to
You're Gavin Newsom pretending to be a Swiftie on a podcast.
You want to reach your political ends, so you just lie and understand the ends justify the means because you're evil and you want power. Fine. What do they get for this? So what? Because
you're not going to get free concert tickets out of telling Gabriette to KYS.
Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's actually, never mind. I changed my mind. It's actually almost more impressive. Not even for power, just the love of the game. Just a hateful, mean, awful person for the love of the game.
I don't know what's worse. The idea that these Swifties are children, which is certainly possible, or that they're adults.
They're adults. They're HR reps and laptop job holders.
I would say there's a mix. There's a mix of both. I think that the chronically online Stan accounts are mainly high school aged teenagers and young adults who are unemployed and living at home. And that's the demographic we're talking about here. Just the same way that a man who identifies as a male feminist is obviously a fraudulent person, you know, trying to put on airs of being selfless and noble and non-threatening. Any woman who fashions herself as the girls supporting girls type, the, you know, dyed-in-the-wool feminist who just wants to celebrate girl power, love, peace, everything. That is Taylor Swift, by the way. That type of woman it actually supports other girls. Like the whole concept of girls supporting girls was used as a weapon so that women can't hold each other accountable for anything. And when it actually comes to a moment where they need to be called out, like this moment, then they start to realize, this group of people like pride themselves on being feminists and all about like female empowerment and stuff, but you never tend to even hate men. You actually like have most of your outrage saved for other women the vast majority of the time because they don't idolize the same person you idolize. It's a cult. Who
you'll never meet and who has no actual bearing in your life.
Who also doesn't benefit from you behaving this way. I saw a tweet from friend of the show, Colonel Kurtz, as well, regarding this situation.
Yeah, she went in on this.
I didn't even realize she was like keeping up with the play-by-play of it all, but here's what she said. I don't think Taylor Swift is a great person. Would a nice person intentionally and premeditatively publicly out a struggling opioid addict who claimed to be sober for trying to secretly buy painkillers from a friend of a friend? Taylor, you didn't do that to help Matty Healy. You did it to embarrass him after he backed out of the stupid fantasy relationship you kicked your longtime boyfriend Joe Alwyn to the curb to pursue, after you'd been emotionally cheating on him with Matty Healy for a while behind his back. Would a good person publicly complain about their ex's clinical depression, and what a drag it was for you to have your superficial happy bubblegum view of the world brought down by someone who was plagued by sadness and depression?
I don't think she actually has that view of the world. I think she's constructed an image that's not necessarily indicative of what she actually believes. That's not a bad thing. That's just branding.
I can't tell if she's referring to Joe Alwyn having depression or Matty Healy. Taylor, did you think that you were helping Joe Alwyn, who never betrayed you and to this day has never said an unkind word about you, by publicly exposing and ridiculing his struggles with depression? Joe has always insisted on his privacy, so why did you publicly shame him for struggling with sadness? Taylor did all of these things. She didn't use their names in the songs, but she included specific identifiers in the songs to make it obvious whom she was dissing, and she generated many negative headlines against these guys in the media. And no, it's not an excuse that it's just her art. Taylor is nowhere near the caliber of artist where publicly exposing and ridiculing her exes is somehow in the service of art. Letting everyone know that Matty Healy is still a dopehead trying to get a fix and that Alwyn is a real downer does absolutely nothing helpful for art or society. Are y'all really trying to tell me this girl can't find anything else to write about? Sounds like a pretty shallow person. Also, if your best friend used to be Blake Lively, then I also have to wonder how a nice girl ends up with an evil manipulator like Blake. Birds of a feather flocking together and all that.
Colonel Kurtz always comes with the receipts.
She does. She really knows her stuff.
I disagree with her about her conclusion about the art. Look, if the future of diss tracks is a white woman, then that's a societal problem. Then we are lacking in diss tracks. Also, the caliber of art it's subjective, so that's an individual interpretation, and her commercial success does not preclude her being able to make music about whatever she wants to. And the second we just decide one is illegitimate because she's massively successful says more about our opinions of how art is perceived than it does about the art itself. She's free to write about whatever she wants. And one could also say that the ability to hook an audience through QAnon level clues is indicative of a mixture of good art and extremely good branding. So I don't know. I'm not going to be the one to tell her that what she should have talked about ponies and horses instead of her ex's problems. I don't know. I disagree.
Ponies.
I don't know. Like, well, what does she talk about if not this? Actually, you know what? It would be funny if she started making diss tracks about bad artists that she worked with, or like, I had a PR,
I want to hear that.
I had a branding manager who wasn't up to snuff, but I don't think people are going to buy those albums.
I want her to make an album about Scooter Braun.
There you go.
That would be fun. Of course, the confessional style of Taylor Swift's music lends itself naturally to her drawing on her own personal experiences, making references that, because of her high visibility to the public, are easy to read for her fans especially, and they are going to take that as a permission slip to go after someone they believe has wronged Taylor. And again, I don't think that she should be held responsible for policing the behavior of her fandom, unless, of course, she's actively encouraging it, which I don't think her songs are. The main point is, and that Colonel Kurtz is picking up on this, Taylor Swift does very carefully curate this image of just a harmless little wholesome girl in her bedroom with her guitar and her songs that she's just such a quirk chungus, and she's so cringe and idiosyncratic, and she doesn't really fit in, and she's just the most wholesome chungus that ever chungused. That is her public image.
Nobody's ever chungused harder.
And it's not accurate to who she really is.
No, it's not. I will agree with what Colonel Kurtz says, that, again, she's done the research, she's got the receipts, that if all said is true, then yes, that makes Taylor Swift, kind of a bad person. But I already kind of believed that Taylor Swift was neutral anyway. She's just a product.
No one other than her fans.
She's just a giant, tall, lanky, blonde product.
Yeah.
And that's fine too. And here's the other thing. At what point do any of these men just decide to just cut bait and not even try if you know that you're going to put yourself in the line of fire?
They knew what they were getting into, of course.
Yeah, and again, look, I'm not here to stand for Taylor Swift, but Joe Alwyn's ability to be a stand-up guy now has not been diminished in any way, shape, or form, and whatever crap he's taking from the fan base only kind of heightens the argument that he's a good person. If in fact he is getting a bunch of backlash that he doesn't deserve, and he's still not speaking on it.
Well, the truth is, we know nothing about these people. We have no idea who they really are behind the scenes. Yeah. And only Taylor Swift's most dedicated fans have an emotional need to believe that she is a good person. Yeah. I have no such need within me. I don't need to think that Taylor Swift or any other musician is a good person for me to engage with their output.
They're just, to me, they're neutral. They're just a product.
Yeah.
And everything they do is in service of that product. And I don't maybe that's the difference between people who may politically lean left or right, is I don't have a need for them to be good or bad. And I feel the same way about any celebrity or politician that I agree with sometimes and disagree with other times. They are a product in service of a goal, and whether that goal aligns with what I believe might work sometimes, might not work other times. But the second you get emotionally invested in that person, you're setting yourself up for failure because you have no connection to them.
Mm-hmm. So it would be good if people could just sever their parasocial relationships with everyone involved.
Somebody says she's not the Destroyer says she's not lanky, Brett. Don't exaggerate.
Well, she used to be.
She did.
She's still tall, but she used to be more of a lanky girl.
All right.
Shane H. Wilder said the rules have always been to give foul balls or anything from an athlete to the child. Be a grown-ass man.
Well, they weren't in America, so he's like, look, we play by Polish rules here. So pierogies and stolen hats.
Oh, this was in Poland?
Oh, I have no
I thought that it was just a Polish CEO that happened to be in the U.S.
Well, maybe tennis is different than baseball.
Adam said, I just saw something that 6 politicians from Germany was on live. I'm not sure if it's true, but scary world we living in.
Okay, I don't know what that means.
Something about politicians getting assassinated? I have no idea. Obviously we're live, so we're not checking our timelines right now. Shane H. Wilder said we must exercise Mary's algo, get the holy water. I like my algo.
She does.
I'm fine with it most of the time. I'm pretty bored with Twitter though.
Yeah.
It's not that it puts me in a bad mood or anything, but I just can't really scroll for that long because it's so boring.
Yeah.
So I end up heading over to Instagram or Pinterest or YouTube.
Ooh, Pinterest. I'm a guy. I don't use Pinterest. So that must be like, for girls, that must be like a real good one to lock in with.
To lock in, I play a podcast and then I listen to the podcast while I do my Pinterest boards.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. I admit that I deleted X off my phone again, though now that we're going to be driving tomorrow for like 8 hours, I have a feeling that...
We, as in Olivia, is driving for 8 hours?
No, she gets car sick, but that goes out the window when we're traveling. Then I do the driving.
All of it?
When she first came out here, yeah, I did all of it. Now I try to do as much of it as possible to get through like Pennsylvania and into... She hates Ohio, so
good luck.
Yeah,
I'm not flying that distance. Like, miss me with that shit.
Yeah.
Or sorry, I'm not driving. I'm not driving.
I like
flying.
It ends up being the same by the time you get through. Check, airport check. Actually, I don't know. You don't have to take your shoes off anymore, so I don't know how long that takes. But like once you get through airport check-in, you have to get there early. By the time you get done there, it's like the same amount of time.
I don't take that long to get through because I have pre-check. Yep. And I'm going to be packing like one outfit.
Yeah.
I'm going to be fine. I just cannot drive for longer than like 4 hours before.
Yeah.
I just can't do it.
See, but the thing is like I always dread it, but then when we get going, I just put on like some 8-hour retrospective of a TV show and lock in.
They make 8-hour retrospective episodes of these podcasts.
I have 4-hour retrospectives of multiple shows.
I've been running out of podcast episodes. Like, I usually feel like I have a backlog to catch up on, and then over the Labor Day weekend, everyone's taking time off. Candace Owens just took a week off of her podcast, and I have nothing to listen to. So I was like searching around. I started listening to music.
The other thing about driving the whole distance is I was like, why was this always easier when I was a kid? I'm like, oh, I was prescribed to Adderall growing up. That's why I could drive 12 hours at a time. And
even now?
No, not now. But now, I mean, I can still do it. But yeah, I was like, didn't even think about it before because we'd go on road like skating tours and stuff where you'd be in a car for not days at a time, but you'd be driving for 8 or 9 hours every couple of days. Mm-hmm. And I was like, why was this so easy back then?
I am not sure of the legality or accessibility of this, but I tried a caffeine pill before driving an hour and a half.
It's over the counter.
Where do you buy that? Is that just at the store?
Gas stations have caffeine.
How do you know
pills.
It's just caffeine though, and not some other thing?
I mean, because
I don't know what it is.
Because they charge more for the good stuff.
Right. But it didn't have any effect. It was 200 milligrams, which is supposed to be like a 24-ounce coffee, right? Yeah. I felt nothing.
Yeah.
I was just as tired. Went home.
The other thing is like
got right in bed.
Or like, well, that's the thing. Like, none of this stuff like affects my sleep. like the sugar. I've kind of cut out the sugar, and I go for I found energy drinks that have no sugar but do have caffeine. But on the road trips, you have to do the 5-hour energy because it's no liquid, so you don't have to go to the bathroom every couple of hours.
But they are disgusting.
Yes, they are disgusting.
They taste awful. Pop Culture Junkie said, Mary, you must have a very twisted algo at this point to vacuum up that brand of cringe. You have my sympathy. I don't need your sympathy.
That wasn't even that bad.
Was it really?
That one wasn't even that. It was just corny for me.
Corey Anderson said, once you are married, no more skating. You will just be running errands all the time or feeding cats.
We run errands all the time as well. And actually, so that I do have another wholesome story. So the day after Friday, after I had my allergic reaction where it felt like I was going to die, Olivia was not keen of the idea.
Sorry, I'm not laughing.
Olivia was not keen on the idea of me going and skating. You know, what if he has another freaking allergic reaction and
to the skates?
Who knows? And she came with me, and that's the first time I've ever taken anyone that didn't skate with me skating. I've never done that. We were in Frederick. Not at a skate park, at a street skating spot. But the point is that's a whole nother level of trust and commitment in a relationship, because never. To me, skating is always supposed to be very separate.
Sacred.
It's very, I knew people that would have girlfriends that skated. I'm like, that sounds horrible. You're like, oh, I'm in a bad mood, I'm going skating. And she's like, I'm coming with you. No, the whole point was to get away from you because everybody has to have their time apart. No, she came skating with me on Saturday.
Well, she didn't skate, I see.
No, she did not skate. She crocheted while I skated.
I see. That's nice.
It's very wholesome.
Shane H. Wilder said, I'ma just say it, they aren't really married. Yeah. Corey Anderson, I'm not reading that one.
Yeah.
Shane H. Wilder said white wedding dress tradition didn't become mainstream until after World War II when people could afford white fabrics. Most people just wore their Sunday best. I thought it was more like post French Revolution, but yeah, I guess I'm wrong. It's not a long-standing enough tradition that I care to follow it. Eazy-E said, 8 years before marriage, why does that feel like a game of chicken to see who pops the question first? Yeah, because in their relationship, there isn't an obvious rule as to who is supposed to ask.
Yeah, but the thing is with feminism these days, they would like to abolish those rules within heterosexual relationships. Remember, every so often, New York Post or one of these outlets tries to put out a bunch of stories where a woman asks a guy to marry them.
And does that give you the ick?
And it never works. It's always one of those things where any guy who's actually a guy who wants to, live up to his expectations knows, no.
Does that give you the ick when you watch that?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, you can't convince me that seeing that gives you the ick, but seeing a woman propose to another woman doesn't also give you the ick.
It doesn't. Because none of my business, I have no idea what's going on.
So if a man is involved, then that gives you the ick because you identify with him?
Yeah, there's specific expectations that relate to something I understand because I'm a dude.
But those expectations only exist in the first place because marriage is for families, and the only people who can start families are men and women. I'm just stating the obvious, I feel.
I am just a dude who skates and watches movies. I got pulled into this job accidentally. I don't think that deeply.
You're Snoop Dogg right now.
I'm literally Snoop Dogg right now.
I didn't come here for this shit.
I don't know how to tell my kids about this. Wait, am I canceled?
Corey Anderson said, I meant bed. I was driving bed, not Ben. Stop super chatting while driving, man.
Yep, not good for you.
Moon at Noon sent us
a rose.
Flower.
It's a rose.
Thanks. Shane H. Wilder said, not sure if quirk chungussing is venial or mortal, but it is definitely a sin. Beat not to chance it and don't do it. Best not to chance it, I assume. Yeah, the quirk chungus millennial cringecore archetype has got to go.
I did see there was two kids at the skate park the other day. They were both 20 somethings and they were talking about how Reddit humor aged like milk. and they were openly talking about like, remember when it was like actually cool to be like super liberal in society? These were just like 20-something dudes.
Vibe shift.
Apparently,
It's happening.
Apparently, it's real.
If you hear people talking about something in real life, that actually does prove that there's something to it.
Yeah.
Like when I met the guy with the smart glasses, or when you heard the people talking about sports betting at Taco Bell.
Yeah, that was
depressing. The things that we talk about on this show actually exist in real life. So maybe dead internet theory isn't true after all.
Yeah.
Maybe not entirely
not
true.
Entirely.
It's partially true for sure.
It's bot farms.
There are bot farms running like a lot of the traffic on most of these platforms for sure, but there are people too.
Like there should have been a meme like after, you know, all of the stories, like there's been so much like anti-Indian sentiment on X.
There has.
There has to be,
which is crazy because the people working at X are probably like majority Asian and like a lot of Indian guys.
How meritocratic of them to be like, oh, well, if they
Silicon Valley.
So my thought was like, you know, the meme of like, it's like when somebody when somebody brings up politics at the dinner table and the guy transforms from into his character from American History X. It's like the 4 panels. They need to do that, but he turns into PewDiePie
at the bridge,
like
the bridge incident,
anti-Indian sentiment. It's like you just turn into PewDiePie.
Not the
from
bridge.
Congratulations.
The bridge incident was the N-word incident.
Yes.
The T-Series one was the feud with.
That's the one he needs to do.
It's
like when somebody brings up H-1B visas and he gradually transforms in 4 panels into PewDiePie.
It was so good. Oh, I miss that era of YouTube. It was so fun.
Life was different back then.
Truly, like YouTubers were still seen as cool, and not all of them had become train wrecks yet. Like, you know, they still had some sort of cultural cachet, and wasn't just a bunch of like rage baiting all the time. Like,
I mean, you were right, and a lot of people have come around to the idea that monetizing X was one of the worst things that's happened to the internet.
It's awful. And I will stand by saying that first before anyone else was brave enough, because you didn't need to monetize it to ensure free speech on the platform. That's not something that goes hand in hand. Pop Culture Junkie said, just added chungus to my vocabulary. Thanks. One of those words that sounds oddly like what it is. Or is this just my imagination? So I think the word chungus comes from that photo of Bugs Bunny where he's really fat.
Okay.
Remember that?
Yeah, but I don't know.
And then it just got appropriated into what it is now. Shane H. Wilder said, did you catch up on The Exorcist files? I have not, because usually, as I said, I have this backlog of podcast episodes I'm trying to catch up on. And I didn't want to start playing that while I'm driving at night or when I'm like getting ready for bed, because it just like might spook me. It has to be the right time of day, but I have been meaning to. Brian Bledsoe said, Mary not beating the goth allegations with a black wedding dress. Well, look, I think it's basically, you know, it's not that surprising. I wear black every day. Why would I make an exception? And I think that it's a color that just looks better on me in general. So I want to look my best, and that's part of it.
See, as my weight goes up, black becomes more
yeah,
slimming.
It's flattering.
It's slimming.
But I'm not like goth. Like I'm not saying that there's nothing interesting like about my appearance, but I do think people kind of blow it out of proportion, to be honest. Like, I'm not goth. There's nothing actually that you can point out about me that is goth. I just tend to wear black.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
I think it's because it's a distinct look that isn't really inhabited by any other women in the space, and their brain goes to the closest analog.
Yeah.
And the closest analog is Hot Topic goths from the
It's either Hot Topic
2000s.
or anime, both of which isn't really me.
Yeah.
I wasn't even like emo when that was cool because I was a child back then.
Plus, you like some emo music and you know about scene culture from the 2000s. Like, you're goth adjacent, and it's not even by your own choice. It's just by virtue of how you dress and your interests, even if it isn't something you identify with.
Greg Duvier said Mary likes to yell at her phone when in a car wash. I did. I just thought the lights were cool for a video, so I went for it. Shane H. Wilder said, a woman proposing to another woman doesn't give me the ick because I assume they are cosplaying since they can't get married. Still odd, though. I don't know. Kind of gives me the ick, but maybe it's because I'm a woman.
Well, there it is. All right, we're almost to the second crisis party if anybody wants to get us to that before we go. But what you should do, guys,
if you support Brett's wedding, you will get us a second crisis party.
I told Olivia, I said, I'm not going to invoke the wedding.
I'm going to invoke the wedding into this.
I said, I am not going to invoke the wedding to get us crisis parties here. So,
but
guys,
saying that you're not doing it.
Mary is doing it.
Is kind of doing it.
All right, guys, please, before we go, hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Again, like the video. I'm always checking those likes now. Yes. We're sitting at, what are we sitting at here? We're sitting at 289 likes. There's still 800.
Joke.
There's still 875 of you watching and only 200 some likes. Hit the like button,
you must
please.
Hate us.
You must really hate us. So, Mary, where can they find you?
Guys, you can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived. And help me get TikTok famous. That is also Mary Archived.
Perfect. Guys, just a heads up. Again, I will be gone the rest of this week and next week. And, there's one more super chat there.
From Brian Bledsoe?
Yeah, he says, have a great wedding, Brett, and honeymoon. Wedding in the Gongo? Well, you'll never know. Maybe it's in the Gongo.
Maybe stop at the Gongo.
But guys, I will be gone the rest of this week and next week. There will be shows all next week. I believe there will be a show on Thursday this week as well, so stay tuned for that. And again, hit the like button on the video. If you want to follow me, I am on Instagram and on X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. We are here normally 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you'd like to listen rather than just watch the show, you can rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, which is also a great way to help the channel out. If you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at popculturecrisis, Instagram at popculturecrisisPod. I ended the poll. 82% of you say, nah, Trump ain't dying. And
he's fine.
He has since addressed that.
We have
got
a 20 from Ethan Miller saying wedding. So it worked.
It did.
We invoked the wedding and it worked. Shane H. Wilder said, damn it, how much more do I have to do for Brett and Olivia? 2 crisis parties, ungrateful much? LOL. Look, it's my fault. And
Thank
then we
you,
have
Shane.
Another $2 super chat from Wooby Funtime. That's a new one.
Says, hey, you.
Thanks.
Well, all right. Well, thank you. Guys, stay tuned for a post-credit crisis party, and stay tuned for more Pop Culture Crisis Thursday this week. We will see you then, and I will see you guys in a couple of weeks. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Adam says, grabs on the wedding, have a ton of babies. I think he meant grats on the wedding. Later, guys.